Hello and welcome to Fixing South Sudan, your ideas for building the new nation. I am Adingor. Hello and welcome to Fixing South Sudan, your ideas for building the new nation. I am Adingor. This week on Fixing South Sudan, we put into perspective the terms of the recently signed multi-party road contract between the government of South Sudan and China-based Shandong high-speed company. How long will it take to build the first leg of the roads connecting Juba with Bahr el Ghazal? And at what cost? Is this emerging model of using oil for development a good idea for fixing South Sudan? And a look inside the Ministry of Finance and Planning. Is it too deformed to be reformed? With us in the show is the First and the Secretary of Finance and Planning, Honorable Biel Jock. It's our pleasure to invite him to this show for the first time. Welcome to Fixing South Sudan.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
So when we talk about the multi-party road contract, the details are scanty at best for the public. It is a very anticipated project, one of its kind, and you found yourself at the center of it. It's our pleasure for you to explain to our audience what this is all about. Welcome.
Thank you, Madingor, and I also appreciate your crew. Yes, I think it is very important for our public to know, and I think there was a lot of positive message when they see the signing of the road project. The idea is the new policy initiated by His Excellency the President Salva Kiir Mayardit when he went to China for FOCAC meeting in September. So His Excellency decided to use oil for development. And the two major projects that he talked about when he was in China, talk about building the roads, using the oil, and power plants, because those are the key thing for development and to attract investors. So immediately he formed a China desk under his office, and the China desk is chaired by His Honorable Majika Yi, the Minister of the Office of the President, who is key leadership to this project is pretty amount. Immediately he constituted a team comprised of the stakeholders, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Road and Bridges, and also the China Affairs, the China desk in the Minister of Foreign Affairs, called China Affairs. So he gave us a very clear term of reference that this project that His Excellency the President initiated is something that must be done, and it should be done immediately.
The contract was signed recently and it was officiated by the President himself. That shows the importance of the project itself.
Yes. So yes, the project is very important. And what I want to say that the whole component of the project, there was 3 agreements that were signed. First, we went to China to sign the lifting, called SPA, Sell and Purchase Agreement, because since we are going to use the oil, so there must be a schedule of what are they going to lift. So starting from May, they will lift the first cargo. So 10,000 barrels a day in 2 months is equivalent to cargo. The cargo only 600,000 barrels. So that contract was signed for 5 years, and it can be extended. So the road is that now we will be giving Chinese oil, and then they will build our roads. It's not only this road alone. There will be many roads, but this is the beginning of this project. So I'm quite sure that this project will succeed. We signed that SPA in China. We came and signed the multi-party agreement. The multi-party agreement was signed between the Minister of Finance, Shandong High Speed, and Minister of Petroleum. That is another component of the contract. The most important part of the contract is an EPC contract that is signed between the Shandong High Speed and the Minister of Road and Bridges. That contain all the details of how this thing is going to be done.
And let's go into the
details.
Road projects. We are talking of 392-kilometer road up to Rumbek.
Yes.
From Juba to Rumbek.
Juba to Terkeka, Rumbek.
And when we talk about the cost, you are talking about 10,000 barrels a day. That is going to be from the government entitlement?
Yes. So,
and will it be taken directly by Shandong, or will it be given directly by the government?
No, the Shandong has a lifter called Shanhua. Shanhua is an oil company that is specialized in lifting the crude. So when the crude is sold, the money will be put in a security account that is open in China. The security account is controlled by the government. So the security account is to guarantee them that their money are there, because that money will be used only for the road. So there is no any other payment on that security account. That is going to be open in the Bank of China, in China. So the whole arrangement satisfied both parties, and especially the Shandong High Speed are very happy, because now they know that they have guaranteed the investment because they will be paid. So immediately they already start. When we signed the agreement, in 2 weeks, now they start mobilization. Now they are working on their camps. And their first camp will be near Jabalado. The second will be in Terkega. Because from here to Terkega is 6 kilometers. So soon you will see moving, because you remember you was with us when we were visiting their equipment. So now some of the leaders went back to mobilize more. So it's a work that is already started. So I want to assure our South Sudanese that seeing you saw the president witness that you should immediately know that this project, there is no going back. About
a week ago, you said that it would start in 14 days.
Yes, it's already started.
When we talk about the start, how does it start?
It is start by mobilizing. It start by setting the camps, because for them, they have to have camps. So now they are working on setting up the 2 camps, and also doing the investigation road, so that they see that the road is also, the security side. They are also talking to the community, and the government is helping them on that, so that the community know that there is people who are going to be working on the road. So this thing is already started.
We should underscore the fact that this project should have started in 2014.
Yes.
And part of why it did not was primarily the insecurity and the war prevailing in the country.
Yes.
How is security going to be provided so that the road project is not interrupted?
Well, I think the whole country knows that now there is a relatively peace in the country after signing the revitalized peace agreement. So now you can see even Juba now, many people came back. So the government will guarantee, because they will be given some, they will be working with some security forces with them. They will be staying with them in the camp, and they will be also working with them on the road. And the public, the local community will be educated about how good is project, because the most important thing is them to secure. If they are made aware of the importance of the project, they will be willing to even to be the one securing.
You have observers who are normally skeptical about projects executed by Chinese companies, and the first question is, why Shandong High Speed?
Yeah, I think Shandong is one of the best companies in China. It's owned by the state, and His Excellency went and visited the headquarters. Myself, I went to visit that. I visited the headquarters. I also saw their works. They were the one doing even the railway from Beijing up to Shandong province is done by them. They all did the longest bridge, it was the longest bridge, but after the one in Hong Kong, now it become the second, because they built that bridge. I went there, about 42 kilometers. So when you see the technology and the amount of the skill that they have, I have no doubt they are the best.
They are credible.
Very critical.
And when we talk about the skill, that's another area of controversy because normally Chinese companies import skill. And you have South Sudanese here who needs to be deployed. What does the contract say about that?
The contract said the 15% will be for local. So, and also our engineer will be involved into, because in the contract what we say that there is going to be a consultant that is going to be hired by the Minister of Road and Bridge. It depends. If they find a qualified South Sudanese, they will hire. If they not, they can look for another expert, expertise elsewhere. But most of our engineers will be involved in trying to see that the work is done correctly. 15% will go for local contract. So they will subcontract some of the thing that they cannot bring in China. But this is the beginning because for them also they care about quality. So they will be working along with our people in that project.
On the projected cost, the only reference we have in South Sudan is the Juba-Nimili Highway, and that is 192-kilometer road, and it costs $200 million. So when we talk about 392-kilometer road, how much are we talking about?
Well, you see, when you are building the roads, it's different. That is, because if you build 2 lanes, if you build, let's say 9, in the region there is a 9 meters width, So for the cost, it depends on the quality, actually. If you see the Numli Road now, people are complaining that our engineer were not involved. There was no consultant that was involved. But for them, I think they are using the region, the regional price, because there is international price of per kilo. So it will not be something that abnormal, and it will not be something very less. So it will be around the standard. So it's not expensive.
You have not answered my question. What is the projected cost of the roads? 392 kilometer road.
It depends.
Are we talking about $1 billion, $700 million?
Well, it's not. Of course, it's not $1 billion. But it will be around because there are working details out with the Minister of Roads and Bridges. But I know it will be around $600 to $700 million.
So you will be lifting cargo for the 5-year term contract or until the money comes to an end?
The Juba Tarakeka Euro Rumbek Road is only 3 years. But when we say 5 years lifting contract, because there are other projects that will be added. It's not only this road that will be done. That is South Sudan need to be connected with roads. Roads are for development. Roads are for security. Roads are for peace. So the reason we say in 5 years even extended is because the president has directed that now we have to use our oil. It is the first of its kind that we are using our own money to develop our country. This is the first project that we are putting our own money in. So it's not a matter of 5. It can be extended, but we are when you are doing the contract, you have, because if they finish from Juba 3 years, then there should be, because it has to go up to WOW, and it has to go up to our will. So there will be extension. So it's not, even if after 5 years, it can be still extended.
South Sudanese are subjecting this project into political lenses, and they're saying, why start with Barghazal when the oil comes from Greater Upper Nile? Well,
I think people should know that all the resources of the country belong, all of us are equally stakeholders. Whether you are from Upper Nile and the oil is from Upper Nile, it's not. It is a matter of priorities of the government. And then when you talk of priorities, it doesn't mean that, because the oil is in Upper Nile, the road should start with Upper Nile. But this is the beginning. Like last time, the road was start here. The road of Numli was start, but it's the same. So I just want to tell our people that let us be South Sudanese. Any natural resources belong to all of us. It doesn't matter where it started. At the end, all of South Sudan is going to be connected with roads.
36 months to completion. Will it be done?
It will.
It's a good place to take a break.
Thank you.
For the signing of the agreement yesterday on the 25th of March, the agreement on the construction of the road from Juba, Terkeka, Yorul to Rumbek is here today. The stakeholders comprise of the Minister of Roads and Bridges, Minister of Petroleum, Office of the President, and the Minister of Finance. Together, we're all celebrating the signing of the agreement witnessed by His Excellency the President. His Excellency the President has encouraged us with a policy of oil for development, for which we are now embarking on the first ever construction of one of the roads in the Republic of South Sudan that will be followed by other roads. Today we are here in Gumbo at the headquarters of Shandong, where the equipment is. And around me, I believe you can see an assortment of equipment, compactors, excavators, trucks, name them. Mostly the different types of equipment that are required for the construction of the road. This is a clear indicator that Shandong High Speed that is undertaking the construction of the road is ready. For us, we want to assure our people that the trip of His Excellency the President to Greater Bahr el Ghazal and his assurance to the public that we are going to embark on our development, especially in the infrastructure and much more on the road, is a reality. So today we are here to assure you, the public, that we are moving forward. There is no return. These equipment are a clear indicator of the preparation of the company. We are going immediately to look at our timetable and our clear strategy for the implementation of this work. So I want to tell you, there is no hesitation anymore. And our roads are going to be fixed. And all this team standing here represent the various institutions that have worked very hard. On top of them is the China desk, which is in the Office of the President, coordinating these activities. We believe that roads are peace, roads are stability, roads are trade, roads are connectivity of the people or of the country. So I want to assure you that we are moving forward without fail. This team sitting here, standing here, is going to cooperate with Shandong. We also want to thank the Chinese government for the understanding that we are going to move forward in terms of the infrastructure. We also want to thank Shandong for waiting for quite a while, since 2014. All of us know that our challenges have been the crisis that stopped us from moving forward, the insecurity that ensued. But today, we are talking about peace. His Excellency the President has championed the peace that we are today implementing. And we know very well that with the peace, we are now able to move forward in terms of the construction of our roads. So once more, I assure you that we are going to stand firm, we are going to move forward, we are going to embark on the construction of our roads, and we want to bring a smile to the faces of the people and the citizens of South Sudan. Thank you.
Welcome back to Fixing South Sudan, your ideas for building the new nation. I am Adingor, and with us in the show is the First Undersecretary, Ministry of Finance and Planning, Honorable Biel Jock. We come for the final round. When we talk about the Ministry of Finance and Planning, is a place that needs massive reforms. And what catches the attention of anyone who goes there is the overflowing crowds, particularly around your office. What is the main attraction for the crowd, and how do we fix this situation?
Yeah, again, I just want to say thank you. We have this centralized payment system that everything is paid in the Ministry of Finance. I think that is number one, attraction of the crowd. Second, also the sometimes lack of liquidity, of course, of crisis. People begin coming every day to follow up their claims, because when if you are a spending agency, you make a contract with any company or any person who delivers goods and services. So they come to Minister of Finance to follow up their claims. Yes, it is something that is not good, especially in my office. Sometimes it's very, very, very ugly, look ugly actually. But we are working to what we are working on now, we work on a system that we are catch focus. And catch focus, when we know that we're going to have this amount of catch that we'll get this month, so we will ask the spending agency to send their priorities so that we send the money to them. It is a work in progress, and we are trying it, but you know that anything new, sometimes it gets time for people to adjust. So what we work on, we are trying to send to the spending agency so that if you are contractor of a particular ministry, you go to follow up in that ministry. So that one will reduce, the crowd. That is what we are working on. Yes, some of the reform that people may be thinking that the Minister of Finance is not, is too deformed to reform. No. Since we came in.
No, on this question of payment, the ease of payment is very difficult. And you are famously known as the king of Authority. This is a letter to nowhere. And in fact, some people say that you have 5 different ways of writing approval. And they want to know what is the correct language for someone to be paid.
By the way, there is no any correct language. And I don't have 5 languages that people are saying. It's only that people are trying to.
There's Harjan, there is priority, there is very Harjan. Which one works?
All of them works. All of them works. In a sense that, the problem is with our people. When you are telling them that you wait until, we get the money, they don't listen. They say, oh, you have to sign. So by doing that, when we sign, it doesn't mean that the person will not be paid. It doesn't mean that we are waiting for liquidities and that will be organized way of putting. When we say there are the claim, let's say you came and you are sick, and I can say you are sick. So I will put you into category that of very urgent. And then that is how, we categorize them. But all of them at the end are going to get paid. But people say it may take a while. That's why maybe people are saying that is a letter to nowhere. But it just takes a while, but eventually you will get paid.
It does take a while, and people are wondering whether you are fair to everyone, because your office is one of the offices where the government gets cursed and even the country gets cursed. Yeah. Because when you hear the things people say, there is a palpable sense of injustice that there are some people who are being prioritized.
I think that is wrong. I'm never, me as a person, I don't have that intention. The only thing that people may think is the priorities, because number one priority for me is to make sure that the government works. Operation of government, because there are something that the government works. Those are priority to me. So if those are clear for us, they said the salaries. If I'm paying the salaries, the salary is right to the people. So I'm not discriminating the companies not to pay them. But to be honest, in my office, I don't look at you, who you are, I look at your papers. Because you are a South Sudanese, I'm there for you, I'm civil servant, I'm hired because of you. If there are no people that coming to me, then why should the government hire me? And if I go there to see that who is this, that means I'm not doing my job. And it will be against my principle.
Some South Sudanese think that you are unfair to all. And in fact, only yesterday, when I was popping by at your office, there were those who were complaining about the people of the language, that those who are going first are the people of the language. Let the people of the language go first. And it's a thing in South Sudan, when you have an office with the Nuers feel empowered, with the Dinka feel empowered, and so on with the rest of the people. Is this true?
I don't think it's true, and I can easily say that. And some people because I may defend myself, but some people, the way I behave, may say that. Because I don't believe in this, and that is not my principle. And some example, you go to my office, who are working with me? I have only one Nuer in my office. My bodyguard is a Dinka. My driver is a Dinka. My office manager is from Kuku. Another private executive is from Bargazal. So if you can see the combination of my office, you can see that even for them, they will not allow that. Because this is who I am. And you come as a South Sudanese, I will serve you. But if some people are talking like that, well, you cannot stop people thinking about who you are, but it's should you to know who you are.
people think that it takes the 10%, the famous 10% to be paid in finance. Is the issue of 10% a myth or is it a reality?
Well, I think, you know, people are talking that I don't think, maybe, I will not say it's a myth or it's a reality. But what I can say that it's not, maybe it's not the people in finance, that for example, like me, and then you come and or you have a claim and then I want to prove because I get 10%. It will be against my conscience and I will not sleep the night because that is not the why I was hired. I was hired to be given a salary.
How do we fight that issue of 10%? We are basically talking about corruption in finance.
Well, you know what is happening is that I think it is the business community that are corrupting because the business community, sometimes they distribute one paper to some 10 people.
What are you doing about it?
What we are doing about it, that's why we want to make sure that all the claims, we will do a cash focus, they will be sent to institution, to the spending agency. If what they do in the spending agencies with them is not our problem, but we want to make sure that all this characterization of the Minister of Finance is not going to be there because I can guarantee you there are in the Minister of Finance are good people who are working there, but it's only that we are being characterized that way, and some of it is because of lack of cash. That's why, you know, because you know that some of it was not there before.
There is no lack of cash. There is mismanagement of cash. You have a situation where some companies are paid millions of dollars and government employees are not being paid for months. This contradiction, how do you resolve this?
Well, I think, you know, sometimes what is important when you don't know some of the facts. Yes, when we are paying the contractor that is contracted by who? By the government. That must be important thing that because, you know, the government don't go and buy a thing on their own. They construct business people. Don't say these are all of it are equal because there must be urgent need to go to, you know, to get those things. And also, yes, I understand that the payment of salary is number one. And then my minister, the Minister of Finance, make it very clear that his number one priorities is that make sure that paying the salary on time. And we try that. Now with the state, now we almost at the level different of 1 month with the state and the national government. And we are trying to bridge the gap with our embassies. So we are taking this thing seriously.
It's a question of prioritization. If you give a contractor that imports vehicles and you pay them at the expense of the public, that is a question of misplaced priorities. So this is an area you think is going to change.
I think it's going to change because, you know, we are not going to some of these details of who get paid. But I know that what we need to do, everything need to be paid. But everything need to be paid all and with the same thing, like we need to pay the sellers. I can guarantee you that this thing will change because our production, the oil production is going up. Our crisis now, the peace revitalized, peace is now, you can see the light of the tunnel. So at some point within this year or with the new budget, you will find that we will be doing things. Even the arrears, we will be able to clear the salary arrears and we will be able even to pay people on time.
I want to talk a little bit about the National Revenue Authority because it is under finance and also because you are a board member. And the fact that people are not being paid is because of dwindling resources. The oil sales is not coming through and the non-oil revenues are not enough to go around. What can you say about National Revenue Authority as far as ramping up the collections?
Non-oil revenue I think is picking up. To be honest, I think formation of the National Revenue Authority, I think was a wise idea. You know, simply because, you know, because Minister of Finance cannot have the hand to collect. Now we have independent institution that collect on the behalf of the government. And now they're keeping them for a certain time so that we know exactly, we can forecast exactly in a month how many cash we are going to have so that it can help us to plan. Because what is all about planning. If we know that we are going to get cash, this amount of cash, then you will plan, you will say, okay, this is for salary, these are for this. So I think it's a good idea, and they are doing good. You can see when the dollars, the collecting dollars now increase because now UN agencies who don't used to pay, especially South Sudanese, don't used to pay pay personal income tax they are paying now. So you can see that, I think in the long run you will see that we will not have a problem of how to meet the obligation of the government.
The most popular question that is often asked of the Revenue Authority is, you are collecting taxpayers' money, but what about the expenditure? And they are not able to answer the question of expenditure because you are the spending agency. So how are you spending the taxpayers' money?
Well, okay, I think that is a fair question because every taxpayer need to know how the money is being spent. Right now in the Ministry of Finance, we are working, we hire a small firm to make sure that we are working on the financial statement. Because how do the taxpayer know how their money are paid? It's through financial statement. So we are working now so that we will be periodically, every year we will be publishing financial statement so that the public knows that this is the amount of money that was collected from them and this is how they are going to spend.
In the meantime, you talk about planning in advance to know how much is coming in, but some people think you commit the money before it even comes and before it even gets announced.
But those are the information that sometimes need to be clear on the show. Because planning is that, okay, let's say I project that I'm going to have this cash. I will say, okay, this cash, let this percentage go to salary, let this percentage go to the operation of the operation cost of the institution. That is not a commitment. That is a plan. Because when they come, there is a plan. This, even in your house, even your house, you don't do your budget. What is budget? Budget is all about plan. In your house, you have to know that I'm going to buy, I have 10,000 per pound. This is what I'm going to buy. And you plan it before you get your salary. So it's about planning. It's not that we spend them. How do you spend money before you didn't get them?
You spend it before it arrives.
So where is the money? How can we spend them?
You are not new to the government. You have moved from human rights to trade and now to finance. Have you been fixing South Sudan? Have you made decisions in the best interest of South Sudan?
I think, I will not say 100%. But I want to answer your question differently. Fixing South Sudan is a collective responsibility. If Madingor alone is the one working on it, you will not make it. If Biel alone is working on it, I will not make it. So I just want to say this very clear. Fixing South Sudan is a collective responsibility, even from the village. Because even by laying down your gun in the village, you are fixing South Sudan. By making decision, a right decision, even though you are a director or you are even a cleaner, by doing best, you are cleaning with all your heart, you are fixing South Sudan.
Can South Sudan be fixed?
It can be fixed.
Has it fixed you? Yes.
I don't know, but I think